Welcome to a brand new episode. It's so great to see you again. If you're new here, welcome to the conversation. You're listening to The Priming by Ibalai Studios. Damilola Joshua, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, Derek.
I'm so glad I got to know you. I remember the first time I interacted with you was actually online on
Yeah,
Instagram.
sure.
I don't remember I don't remember when exactly, but I think you're supposed to have a show in Kenya, right?
Not actually in Kenya. It is actually an annual competition here in Nigeria, which I was opportuned to be part of the finalists. Yeah. So probably by March, yeah. But it has been quite a busy week, though. Yeah.
Fantastic.
For the preparation. Yeah.
Fantastic. And before we got to do this, I was just trying to get to know you better by looking you up online, and I came across we have several articles on you and your work actually. And for the people who don't know, Damilola Jayeola Joshua is an amazing artist from Nigeria.
So, okay, my name is Jayeola Joshua. I'm from Nigeria, which I reside in Lagos precisely. I'm an artist, a visual artist, and a painter. Yeah, and my works evolves around, cultural values, social lifestyle, and most importantly, self-identity. And if you see my work, I'm sure if you see my works, but I'm familiar with curved lines, and drippings. Yeah, very much still exploring though. Yeah, so basically that's me. Yeah.
I've seen some of your works online, and your work is actually really amazing. Your work is intriguing, actually. Um, it's
Thank you.
obvious that you tackle a lot of things, a lot of very important issues through
Yeah.
your work. First, I'd love to ask you two questions. Have you been doing art all your life, or it's something that you started doing later in life?
Okay. This is a genuine question. Because I asked one of my, should I say my boss, one of my colleagues in art field, but he has this higher, exposure in the art. I asked him that at what point did they started, doing doing art as a full time studio artist. Then he said he has been doing art since all his life. Then I had to reflect on mine as well, because I also started at the age of 6, and ever since then art has been the only thing. Because I had to reflect after I asked that question from him, that this has been the only thing I have been doing all my life, and it has been quite challenging. That one is that's the truth, but at least it's what keeps me going, what keeps me moving. Yeah, so that has been basically what I have been doing all my life.
Saying that that's something I can actually relate to with you. But on my end, I've also been doing art all my life. I started drawing before I knew the alphabet. But if there
Yes.
is one thing I can say, it's I didn't I didn't understand the full extent of the seriousness of being an artist as a kid.
Yeah.
I thought it's something I was just doing for fun
Yeah,
until
sure.
later in life. Yeah, when I
It,
realized that it's something, it is something. It's a career. It's a profession.
definitely.
Have you also had to go through the same line of thing, or you knew right from the
Yeah,
start that this what it
yes.
is?
No, no, no. It was first for the passion, because I just all what I knew then was that I just want to draw. I just want to paint. Anything I say, I just want to draw. I just want to paint. I even felt that the passion in me before, it was higher than the passion in me now. Do you
Yeah.
relate? So it was um until I went for my industrial training at the Universal Studio of Arts, that I got more exposed to the art field, because it was a field for professional artists, and you go there, you learn, you had the training, and they really helped me a lot. That was when I really got exposed that yes, I can make more for myself from what I am doing. So that was when I got more exposed in the art field. And ever since
And
then,
mhm.
every day it seems clearer to me. The road, the paths, despite the struggles. Yeah, so it's just becomes more clearer.
Yeah, and you get into go through the professional training. Um,
Yeah, really.
is it something
I
you've always had in your mind?
It was something I knew this is what I'm going to do from start, even though I don't, because from my secondary school, primary school, I have always been concentrating on art. Do you get, which even made me flopped on other subjects. Even my parents, they had to they had to to
Hmm.
this kind of mentality when it comes to art, making a career path for your children. Then so I think they didn't see me more of me then,
Hmm.
than now, that they are saying what the art can really bring on the table. It's just that the picture seems more clearer, now than ever.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you've mentioned that because with the context of being a kid growing up in Africa,
In
um,
Africa.
being an artist is not usually an option. You're expected
Our
to grow up and
thank
become an
you.
engineer, become a doctor,
Yeah,
the
doctor.
the well-known profession. So being an artist is something that uh, unfortunately, most of the kids growing up in Africa have not experienced support from their family and parents, but they're not to blame because it's a field that's not very many people understand what it is
Exactly
exactly.
what it is.
So,
Exactly.
has that um, impacted your influence the way you do your work or how you started doing it?
It really impacted my works a lot, because I just want to. If you notice, most of my works, I don't just create. I create intentionally. I make sure what I'm creating is what I
Hmm.
am experiencing. So and that makes people to to get connected even more than more than I do, because it evolves around us. So so it's that was it basically. Yeah, that was it. So
Uh,
it's I and I'm the kind of person that I have this um mentality. I believe
uh-huh.
since this one can do it, and then I can do it better. Mentality has really, I just believe I too can do. Yeah, I can do it better. Yeah. So that has kept me going though.
Fantastic, fantastic. And with that being said, what do you think can be done to make the situation better for other kids who are growing up in Africa and would love to get to do what you're doing right now? What kind of support would be nice for them, even with the limited knowledge in the field of art? maybe what kind of resources can be availed to them, or maybe it's even just a mentality that can be imposed on the people of Africa to embrace it. Because I have a strong belief that the future of Africa lies in the creativity of the individuals that come from it.
Yeah. So we are. It is obvious recently that art is it has been it is exposed. It is it has um improved. Yeah, let me just put it that way. The way they view art then till now, it is obvious. We will see that it has really
Hmm.
improved. But at least it can be better. But if I really want to, because at the end of the day we have to adapt to it, and as long as the kid, just like I I was growing up, got exposed to what art really is. As long as they are exposed to that, I think the remaining is up to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So as long as they are exposed to what art really is, the remaining is up to them.
I can say I'm a little bit envious of you, uh, who've had the chance to grow up in Nigeria, because you guys are trailblazers when it comes to the art scene in Africa. I'm not sure if you've had the chance to experience other other art spaces in Africa, but from my end here in Kenya, I can say that it's very evident that you guys have set the pace for the African art scene. And is it something that you would say you feel or you realize being in that context?
I would say, I would say it is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Art here in Africa, Nigeria, it is evolving. It is constantly evolving. People are getting to know what what it takes to to create art, to be an artist. Trying to give the artists more opportunity to showcase their works. Just like the one I told you, the competition, I was opportune to be a finalist. So it is an annual competitions. So more of them. So I would say it is just constantly evolving. Yeah,
Mm.
it is constantly evolving. The challenges, to me, it is everywhere. But normally you can't compare the African art, the exposure, the
Yep.
way they call it art, than that of the US, UK, all those um what's it called, elite countries
Mm-hmm.
like that. So you can't really compare to that. But than before, the art here is constantly evolving. Yeah, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah. And you've mentioned the elite art scenes that we have in the world. So I know most artists, their biggest dreams, one of their dreams is to have their work travel around the world and be
Definitely.
showcased in these spaces that are considered to be very successful. uh,
Yes.
what's your take on having, because there's a problem with the art thing in Africa where, like, at the moment we're talking about ancient art that we had in Africa that was taken away from Africa, so now we want them to come back, but at the same time I think we're turning a blind eye to the art that's being created in Africa right now by the artists that who are alive. What do you think of the aspect where most of the works by African artists leave the continent? Do you think we should really find a way to make sure that African art also stays in the country and circulates more in the continent than living?
Uh-huh. If you observed around there, why do you think the art that was made over there stays over there? The question should be how much value do we place on these things? Because if we really value
Mm-hmm.
them, because obviously it was someone that sold it to them, or maybe someone that it will definitely be sold to them, and obviously it will be by maybe a Nigerian or African collector or whatever.
Yeah,
Get so, and you know, like I said, they know the value of these things even more than us that we have these things. Do you get? We start recognizing our value. I think that is when things can actually be put in order. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, that's well said. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we all have a big responsibility to actually start valuing um, artworks here in Africa. And that
Exactly.
responsibility falls on everyone, starting from the artists themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because the the vast piece of work actually begins with the artist. The
Mm-hmm.
artist has to really value the work they create, and that's the only way that the world and the people around them can take it the same way. What would be your advice to an artist to make sure that the work they create is work that actually has value to them and to the people around them, and yeah, to the land itself? What would you say to an artist?
Okay, I'm an artist myself. Yeah. So I would just say to myself, to be true to myself, um, to always go for originality over
Mm-hmm.
any other thing, and just to create within. Forget about the you want your works to be liked, all those that just as long as we like what we create as an artist, we like what we create. I think that makes the justice. Just love what you create and it's going to speak for itself. I am still evolving though, with my current stage and my experience in the art field. I have learned that, many times, not even sometimes, many
Mm-hmm.
times you have to do it alone. Yeah, and we should not, as an artist, be afraid to do it alone. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think basically that's just it.
awesome. And where are you at right now as an artist? What are you working on?
Now I started a new series, my ongoing series, a new series titled "Beloved." It was actually inspired by my upbringing, which I really had.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time, for my upbringing, which I came from a polygamy family, and
Yeah.
you know what that means. So I hardly had that love of my father, even the love of my mom. So a process of healing for me, through that series,
Mm-hmm.
and try to, make people feel what I am feeling, and just letting them know that, irrespective of the love they didn't receive, they should, just ignore all those, and then, try to, embrace the love they didn't receive, irrespective of the love they didn't receive. Just, let go, give room for, give space for, chances, irrespective of that heartbreak. That's not the last, and you can actually do it yourself. So you don't
Yeah.
really need people like that. So you just, as long as you love yourself, and you know what you're doing, so everything will be fine. So it is just a moment of, of healing for me and for many others out there who have come across, my stage, yeah, and finding it
Yeah.
hard for them to let go. So basically, and so many projects like that. So yeah, I have a lot of projects, for this year already, but you know.
Mm. That's really beautiful. And I love the fact that you've mentioned how working on your projects is actually also a way of you getting to. I want us to talk about mental health. Mental health, most people, when mental health is mentioned, they tend to think about the negatives, right? But there is some positive parts of mental health. What's the big thing in mental health that you can actually tie to your work personally, if it's something you're comfortable sharing?
Okay.
On matters mental health, has art been like a tool for you to get in touch with your mental health, understand where you are, how you're doing, if maybe there's some things you've been struggling with, maybe
Yeah,
do they root from art, or has art been a way of you to deal with them?
yeah. Actually, everything starts from experience. There's
Mhm.
no way we at some point we have to be at that level, and even the road is not going to be smooth. Even the people that has gotten there, they are still struggling with it. But for me, I just try to balance things. Despite the
Mhm.
economic situation here and there, the noises, blah blah. So I just try to I don't let it sink into me. I just try to balance things. I think I just enjoy creating even at that level, just to ease the stress of. So I think it's just a way of easing the stress off for me. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And when I was reading, there's a lot of articles on your work actually, and I read one, and there's one thing that really struck me, because as you've mentioned me a while ago, that being an artist and just trying to find your way when you're doing it alone can be a little bit hard, and it's really important to I think it's really important to have mentors that guide you along the way. And one
Yeah.
of the things that I have been able to do personally with the art is I've been able to go through a journey of self discovery, just getting to know myself, be in touch with the artistic me, but also the me in me. And I know that one thing you've also been working on is finding self, and being a person that I I am. I've been going through the same kind of journey. I'd love to know what's your perception of self. What's the concept that you have when you say self?
So having a mentor is great, though. It's great,
Hmm.
and like I said many times, it still bounce back on you. You might have 100 mentors and nothing still happen. You know. So like I said, I have experienced some stuffs. That just made me decided that I am just going to work on myself. I'm
Yeah.
going to be disciplined enough. I'm just going to be myself, work on myself, put myself out there. And ever since I stopped limiting myself, I observed that things started changing
Mm.
for good. So I still feel like it still bounce back to us, to ourselves, you know, just to work on ourselves. So basically, I'm just focusing on myself. I have mentors. I have people who mentored me. Who I mentored, who I had trainings from, and wherever I feel like I am not getting this thing correct, or I have any questions to ask, I ask them. Basically, I ask them.
Mm.
So, but at the same time, it still falls out to doing it yourself. Yeah, but I just don't hesitate to ask questions if necessary. Yeah, so that's just it.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that most of us usually forget when we are working on finding ourselves is we think that we'll we think that we'll find ourselves, which I think it's actually really impossible. There's no day that you'll come to a point that you'll say, I found myself and now the work is done. I think it's something you have to keep working on constantly, because you never find yourself, because you're also evolving as a person. So you have to be on toes and be in touch with yourself all the time. And that being said, there's a thing with being in touch with your roots too. Are there any art movements that you're in touch with and which influence your work?
Any art movements? Did I follow? I don't follow trends. I don't follow trends, honestly. So basically, me, I just want to create, and I am more originality, uniqueness. So I just want to stand out. I don't want to be. I don't even want to be Da Vinci. I don't want to be Van Gogh. I don't want to be Picasso.
Yeah,
I just want to be me.
you
You
want to be
understand?
Jayeola.
Because what makes them different is because of who they are.
Uh-huh.
So it's not I don't follow trends. I might just how do I call it? I might just be sensitive enough to see what's going on and something to eat, but I don't strictly follow trend like that. No. So I
Mm.
just basically create, what I feel, what I want to perceive as, originality. Yeah, something original, something unique. So that is what I'm always after.
That's really amazing. Because
Yeah.
you know, when I mentioned that I'm envious of you, I was also thinking about the aspect of there's a time I was on a artists who are showing at the gallery
Okay.
here in
Okay.
Nairobi, and it was the previous show before the Surrealism group exhibition. And
Okay.
yeah, there are other several artists. There was one from Nigeria, and he mentioned several art movements that have influenced him. Ones that came from Nigeria. Some even had their names were in the native language, and that actually took me by surprise, because with my context here in Kenya, I'd say we don't have like a good archive of art movements that
Arts
happened
movement.
here. Yeah,
Okay.
so basically for me, it's been just finding my own way. I also don't follow any kind of trends that are there, or maybe. But one thing that I really wanted to do is just um, get be inspired by the works. At the same time, these things are not that much available to us. That information, I've never
Yeah.
gotten a good source of it, and I thought you being there, maybe there's a chance that you have you're in touch with the sources of those kind of works. Is it easy for you to find them where you are?
Okay. Like what kind of works?
Works that were created by artists from Nigeria in the past, art movements that were there, or just how the art world in Nigeria changed over the
Yeah.
years.
So
Okay.
basically, there is this black art trending, art trending. We even had a discussion, while I was in
Yeah.
school last year about the art movement and how people are tending to, shift into that space. But to me, I think, yeah, that movement was even created by some artists.
Hmm.
Yes, and when they realize it's, most collectors, they that is what they really want to go. So most of them just do it for the money. You get, so they just create works,
Yeah.
black work. That is why you see most of the artists. Now even sorry to say, so they will just paint anything black, then they call it art or black art. So it's just disgusting. But at the same time, they have to survive too. But to me, I don't
Oh.
follow trend. I might include it, but I just refuse to be that and just to be original. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, and that was the exhibition.
The exhibition, the Surrealism Group Show,
Yeah.
was really amazing. I got to see works from various artists. With surrealism, it kind of gives the artist
Yeah.
some freedom,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was just fantastic to see the different kinds of work that were showing there from all over Africa, all over the world, actually. And
Oh,
at the same time, I even got to understand my work better. I don't know if you can relate, but most times you create work, but uh, when you show the work, then getting feedback from people, you get new perspectives that you're not even thought about you know
yeah, I get.
so yeah, that was a really amazing show. It opened the year really well for me, and I'm glad it happened because right now it put me in a direction where I'm working on projects that reflect on several things that I picked up during the show.